What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about insurance and accidents with my co-star, my co-host, Camilla. Now, me and her are very both familiar with accidents. Matter of fact, I got into this business by accident. I got in an accident, which I never thought I would get into an accident, but...
Never say never.
Yeah, it ended up happening. Oh, I hate it so much. But anyways... we got into this business and then we had accidents ourselves before we became fleet owners. Now, we're going to share that with y'all. Well, it wasn't really me that got into the accidents.
But he and I are one, so by default, he got into one too. A couple.
Not really. Her fault. But anyways.
Not literally. Not literally.
Okay. All right. Let's tell them, how did these accidents happen? Sorry.
Well... none of them involve like a passenger, so that's good. Keep in mind that if you do ever get in an accident with a passenger, 9 times out of 10, if you do Uber Black, they will go to the full extent of suing you. So if you are in Uber Black or Uber in general, make sure you are protected because people will sue. People will sue, even if it's an X or a Comfort. It's not as like drastic if you're on an X or a Comfort, but the likelihood of someone suing you because you get in an accident is high.
Super high. And that's why Uber got a certain amount of coverage that they want you to have. That way you protected. Because if somebody sue you, they'll put you out of business. Quickly. And this is why it's so important to operate under a business LLC. Because if you operate under personal and somebody decide they want to sue you, they'll take everything you have if they win. So it's super important to be business structured and to have the proper coverage and the right amount of coverage.
Exactly. And so both of the accidents that I got into, like I said, it didn't involve any passengers in, it was just myself. But I was online. Now, keep in mind that neither of these accidents were my fault, so everything was covered like on the other party's insurance. But when you get in an accident, 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, you will not be able to do like Uber Black until you get your car back. So, for example, my first accident that I got into, it was in the Rover. And somebody had like tried to cut me off. And I don't know how to like explain it, but it was like...
yeah, so she was on a 3-lane.
2-lane.
Oh, it's 2?
It's 2 lanes going left and then there's 2 lanes going straight.
Well, it's like a merging lane. That's why I said 3. But she was on 1 lane. Let's just say this is her on the left. Some guy tried to cut her off. So this is her. I mean, this is the guy. This is her. He tried to cut her off, and in the process of doing so,
hit me on the right side. And when that happened, the car started spinning. And thankfully, like, I had control over the car because we were not going that fast. It was like the light just turned green. So really, like, you're just barely accelerating, right? So it wasn't like that dramatic or drastic, but the overall principle is just like what pissed me off. Because like I said, like once your car gets in an accident and it's in the shop, you're not going to be able to like go out and make money. And so if Uber Black is your full-time job and now you're out of a car, I mean, there are other resources, but rentals cost money. And so I remember when we got in that accident, they were trying to take the cheap way. Like, an insurance, like the purpose of insurance is to provide you, like put you back into the same exact condition prior to your accident, right? Whether you're in a rental car, whether it's like after the accident, the purpose of it is to put you back in that position prior to the accident. They try to give us a truck. It wasn't a truck. It was something at first. And then we got a truck and then we had to like fight them in order to get like a luxury car.
But before we explain it, sorry, this is why it's so important to build a private clientele, because as she mentioned, while your vehicle is in a shop, you're not allowed to do Uber. The car rental companies don't allow that. So even if they give you a vehicle, a luxury vehicle, and you have a private clientele, you can still service that private clientele. Of course, if you try to do it in Uber, you're not going to be registered with Uber. And also, if you try to use the same vehicle, obviously the license plate, some people actually look at that and you don't want them to flag you and then your account get deactivated.
Or 9 times out of 10, they're not going to give you the same car that you have your car registered in. Like, prime example, got in an accident in the Rover and they tried to give us a truck.
Yes, so we literally had to fight for like a week and a half. They gave us a Toyota Tacoma. After some guy hit our Range Rover, they gave us a Toyota Tacoma. We was fighting with them for a couple of days because it's like, we run a luxury transportation business. What the hell y'all doing giving us a truck? And this was with Enterprise.
And this is when we learned that there's two different enterprises. There's like the bare minimum enterprise where you see like Kia, Toyota, like, you know, just like average cars. And then there's enterprise like...
It's called Enterprise Exotic. So basically they got like luxury vehicles, SUVs, sedans, mainly. Yeah. So it's basically for people that got into an accident with like high-end luxury vehicles. So yeah, it's two different type of enterprises, which was cool. We both discovered that. And long story short, we end up getting another Range Rover.
It was a newer one.
It was a newer one, but
it was not good.
It wasn't the same model that we had. So we got the Range Rover Sport, the big model. They gave us the Range Rover Sport small model. It's like the medium size one. So it was cool. We couldn't do Uber in it, but it was just nice to be able to get a luxury vehicle while ours was in the shop, because we were still servicing our private clientele with this little small Range Rover. And the people actually liked it. They like, oh, it got all these fancy cameras and stuff. So that's why I tell y'all, it's so important to build a private clientele.
Yeah, so you're not ever really out of commission. But
long story short, we was fighting with them because they didn't want to fix a wheel.
Yes.
Like, the wheel was in perfect condition before the accident.
These are Vossen wheels.
Yeah.
Learn that.
Yeah, Vossen wheels. So if y'all don't know what Vossen wheels, super expensive. Each wheel on a Range Rover is $1,000 plus. So they didn't want to fix it to the condition it was once in. They tried to do a little cheap fix. Keep in mind, y'all, insurances love to do cheap fixes. So if you know your car was in better condition before the accident, you better make sure you fight it, which that's what we did. They, instead of doing a little cheap fix, they gave us a whole new rim. They didn't want to do it. We was fighting with the managers and stuff. And I'm kind of like one of them guys that's like, oh, fuck it. I'm more of time versus trying to fight with them.
It's a principle.
But she's not. She's like, fight them and fuck the time. So it kind of worked out. But anyways, they replaced...
It's the principle.
They replaced the wheel, and we got our car back in good condition, which it looked like nothing ever happened. And before I let you speak about the second accident, y'all, do not take your car through an automatic car wash, because once again, sorry Range Rover, it was a victim to another accident. I decided to take it through an automatic car wash. It was like a last minute thing. And in the process of doing so, vehicle got damaged. And before y'all say, was the mirrors in? Yes, everything, the mirrors was in. I don't know what happened that day. I think the machines was acting crazy. All I remember is I was going through the tunnel and boom, 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 boom. And then I'm like, what the hell was that noise? Because I heard like some cracking and shit. So after I got out the tunnel, I pulled over and I'm like, oh man, I think they just damaged my car. So I got out. She pulled up because she was with me at the car wash. She pulled up next to me. We looked at the damages. I recorded all of this, and they tried to kick me off the property and say, hey, it is private property. You can't film. I posted this video on my YouTube channel. If y'all want to check it out, go ahead. I'll put it in a video. But yeah, long story short, we end up having to fight that case because Mr. Car Wash, I'll say who did it, didn't want to fix it. So that was kind of like the second accident, which was not our fault, but I just want to let y'all know to add that in there. Like, be cautious about taking your cars through automatic car washes. You know, make sure it's a good one, and make sure that if something do happen, that they able to take care of it.
And now keep in mind that with insurance, for example, in that case, even though he was not at fault, if insurance pays for it, it goes on your record. Just like windshields. Like, a lot of people will make claims about windshields and then think like, oh, okay, well, it wasn't an accident. And then like you pull your record and then it's like, it's listed there. It's like, okay, so what happened on this day at this time? And then the whole time it's just like a windshield repair or like a windshield crack. So keep in mind that anything that you report to the insurance, they keep record. So whether you were at fault or not, it's like a tally mark. So every time you do something with the car or every time you make a report, it's one tally mark. And then over time, if it adds up to, I don't know, a certain number, they may kick you off their policy or like the company.
Yes, because you're a huge liability. And just make sure you protect it. That's why it's so important to fight the people that actually cause the damages instead of trying to go to your insurance and think, oh yeah, they'll fix it. No, it goes on your record. So we didn't want to put that on our record. And that was like a $3,500 expense fix. It's not cheap. Anything that go off or go wrong with a Range Rover is super duper expensive.
Same with the Infinity.
Same with the Infinity, which is the next car that got into an accident.
So basically,
tell the story.
So basically, a little summary. I was in the Infinity, and it was what's it called?
It was
rodeo.
Houston
Rodeo.
Yeah.
Yes, and like if you live in Houston and you go to the Houston Rodeo, you know how crazy it gets. So I don't know if it was like the second or third night of rodeo. I think it was like very first week. It was like the cookout.
It was like the second and a half week.
Yeah, it was like
third.
very, very like early on, right? So whenever it gets crazy at the rodeo, there's police there, but they don't direct traffic. So people just do whatever the fuck they want, right? So you got people riding bikes and like escorting people or like driving people around in their bikes. Then you got people just driving crazy, trying to cut people off. So overall, it was crazy. So technically it's a 2-lane. It's a wide like road. So it's a 2-lane wide road. There's cars parked on like the far right and left. So think of like cars parked here, like my way is like that way, and then the oncoming traffic. The guy behind me 2 rows down, and I can see all this. I'm always like fully aware. The guy 2 rows down from me tries to cut the car behind me and me off. So when he like went like this, so this is where the Infinity is, and the guy literally tried to cut off and speed. And when he sped, he has one of those like
he had
long...
it was tow mirrors. He was driving a Ford F-150 and it had the long tow mirrors. So whenever he tried to pass her,
he like literally slammed my mirror off. Oh, I was so pissed. I literally rolled my window down and I just cussed him out. Like, what the fuck? And this is another thing. Whenever accidents happen, do not argue with the people. Like, yes, I got out of character because I was like peed off, but overall, like, make sure you get 3 things. Either get their license plate, get their driver's license, or get their insurance. If you get their insurance, you don't need to get their license plate or their driver's license. But if you cannot get their insurance, those are the 2 things that you should be getting. He tried to pay me off by saying, I'll just give you $600 or $700. And I said, hell no. Got his insurance, called him like 20 times because he was like dealing with the private. And so basically I literally had to drive home with the mirror hanging. And that took like 2 weeks to fix. And it was like over $2,000. And the man tried to pay off like talking about, oh, it's not that much. I'll just give you $600. Ended up being $2,000.
Yes. And the thing about like getting into an accident, I want to go back to what you said. Don't waste time arguing with them because once you got all the things you need, it's no really need to talk to them. Like it's pointless, which is what I be trying to preach to her. But whatever. Different topic for another video.
I got pissed.
But this insurance company, or with this guy specifically, he tried to pay her off, right? Then whenever we put it on his insurance or we called his insurance, he denied it.
Oh, yes. He tried to deny it. But I got his number. And so I had him call. I typically 9 times out of 10, whatever happens, I let him handle it because at the end of the day, all of the vehicles are under the company name. So ultimately, he's responsible. So keep that also in mind. So whenever you are renting out a car, whoever the car's name is registered will also get dinged for it if they're held liable. So just because somebody else was driving the car, because the car is in your name, you're going to get dinged. So if we were at fault in that instance, not only would it have hit my insurance and my premium would have went up, but also him because he owns the car.
Yes. So I reached out to this guy. I was like, hey, man, you hit my partner, He said, yeah, man, just put it on my insurance. Because we asked him, like, hey, since you say you want to take care of it privately, we'll take it to the shop and then give you the invoice for you to pay it. Yes,
and we sent him a bill, and we took it to Infinity. And this is another thing with insurance. Insurance will rather, with insurance, they don't want to pay.
Facts.
And if they do end up paying, they will take it to the highest road possible. So in this scenario, we gave him a bill from Infinity. Infinity ended up quoting us like 1,500 or 1,600, and we submitted to him. He didn't want to pay. He was like, just take it with insurance. Submitted to insurance, and insurance like, oh no, we're not paying that. You need to take it to one of the carriers that we like work with in-house. And I'm like, but they're probably going to be more. Like Infinity literally told us it's going to be less. And we ended up taking it to like Caliber Collision, and it ended up like triple more.
Yeah, it was. So the original price was, I think it was like $1,750. Mm-hmm. We took it to Caliber. It was damn near $3,000 because it was like $2,800 and some change. So insurance would rather pay more just to work with the companies that they work with, which is so stupid to me. I thought insurance was all for saving money, but no, not really. But anyways, yeah. So whenever we reached out to his insurance, he denied it. So we literally had to fight that for like a week. And then he finally called his insurance, I guess something
And took
hit
liability.
him, and he took liability. So the agent called us back and said, hey, our person took full liability. How would you like for us to take care of it? And then that's when we went on the loophole of going with Caliber. So, and then this instance, they didn't give us a rental vehicle. So we was down one car.
Because we didn't want one.
Well, I don't remember the full situation.
We didn't want one.
Oh, okay. I don't remember it fully, but I just remember we didn't have one because at the time we just had the Rover, which was a good thing because I was still servicing my private clients consistently while she was out. She wasn't working at this time. So sometimes I'd get double booked, and it was better than having to rely on Uber and Lyft, which was perfectly fine. It kept me busy. We was making money. She was at home, and she was doing her thing. So it ended up working out. Now, when it comes to, these scenarios, these situations, you as an Uber Black owner or fleet owner need to make sure you protect it at all times. This is why we decided we wanted to share this with y'all, because we want to be as transparent as possible about like everything we did in this business. It wasn't all butterflies and rainbows.
Still is not.
It still is not. We very as transparent and honest with y'all as possible. And I don't want to make it look like it's all glitz and glamour, because every day you deal with something. But you got to have tough skin, and you got to be able to be a quick problem solver, whether you're an Uber Black driver or a fleet owner, whatever. Because if you sit in pity or be frustrated and upset, it don't help you out as an individual or as a company or business. So yeah, and that's something I had to exercise too at the time, because that's very draining and frustrating, especially like you're already dealing with clients and stuff. Now you got insurance and stuff to deal with accidents. So plus you don't want that on your record. Like she said, even if it's not your fault directly, if it's your vehicle, you own that, it's going to tie back to you. So it affects your insurance as well. So
make sure you have proper insurance coverage, because a lot of people don't. Make sure you are always fully protected. Get a dash cam. I always recommend dash cams.
Yes, good.
And overall, just be on high alert. Like, if you can prevent an accident, prevent it, but, you can't help stupid, so.
Yeah, I would just say be cautious as a driver. And if you're watching this video, you're a fleet owner, do not let people get in your vehicle that got a bad driving record, multiple accidents, multiple speeding tickets. Whenever we vet people out, we make sure their record is pretty much clean. Or if you do decide you want to go with them, just make sure,
you're charging them
additional for their accident history, because the chances of them getting into an accident is higher than somebody that
has a clean record.
So you want to charge them for that.
Yep.
Because also it makes your insurance go up as well.
Yes. So if you put, like, this is a scenario that we had. We had two clean drivers. They were like on a younger side, which age also matters with driver record. A lot of things matter, right? But age matters. So we had two like super clean people, and then we had one where he got into like one like fender bender, and it increased our premium. Even though we got two people that are like perfectly clean, the third person just basically like, fucked it up for us, because no matter like the severity, like if there's something on your record, your insurance is going to go up.
Yes, and it stay on there for a very, very long time. How many years you said again?
5.
5
5
years.
to 7. I don't remember the exact. I think it's 5.
Yeah. So just make sure you stay protected. And also, I want to add in, whenever you get into accidents with these people, they always going to try to deny it, always going to try to fight it. Even with the Range Rover, we forgot to add in that guy denied it as well.
God,
But,
that was like...
Yeah, so all of our, situations that happened, everybody denied it. But we was able to prove it and get our vehicles fixed. So just be prepared for it. You just gotta have tough skin when it comes to this, because it's frustrating, especially when it's all happening at once.
Yep.
But yeah, that'll be it for the video. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all so much. It's a pleasure to be able to come share our journey, everything that we've been through in this business and still going through, by the way, with y'all. That way y'all could...
We probably won't share what we're currently going through until further down the line.
Yeah. So
this all happened like last year.
Yeah, this was last year whenever we was getting the business started. So yeah, we kind of keep it like that.
Yeah.
Y'all don't need to know. But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Did you have anything for them?
Let's get him to 100K.
Y'all heard her. With that being said, we'll catch y'all next video.
Bye.